G'day legends, Dino from Dino Builds here, and today we're going to check out how I built this cute little tiny house for my worms. Let's head to the workshop, get stuck into it. Worm farms are such a magnificent thing to have in your garden, and they are essential for anyone who grows veggies. However, they are typically very underwhelming to look at, and in true Dino style, we're going to change that. So here's what we're going to do. I've got this bathtub that I picked up for 50 cents, and that's what I'm going to build everything around. Bathtubs are the perfect thing for worm farms. They're super strong, designed to hold heaps of weight, and they have awesome drainage, which is perfect for catching all that worm juice to put back in your garden. I want to take advantage of that and build a frame to elevate this bath, and that's for two reasons. One, so I can utilize the drain hole to catch all the worm juice, and two, to make it ergonomic so I'm not breaking my back every time I have to stick the pitchfork in to turn the compost over. I'm just building this frame out of treated pine because it's cheap and it's readily available, and I'm also going to use galvanized screws so I don't have to worry about any rusting. One thing to consider when making this frame, if you are going to build one of these for yourself, build the frame larger than the bath. The reason being, we're going to put a lid on this, and the lid needs to sit flush against the frame. This doesn't make a lot of sense now, but it will in a minute. This might not be critical for everybody watching, but for us in the Aussie bush, we have all kinds of wildlife, rodents and insects kicking around. So it was really important this thing had to seal well. But don't worry, it's also going to have loads of ventilation. I have a plan for that. Now that I've got the size of my frame worked out, I'm just going to mill up some more pine and screw up some L-shaped legs. These will serve a couple of purposes. One, to support the bath, and two, they'll also provide a place to screw the tin in from the inside so there won't be any sharp edges for little kitties' fingers to get snagged. Think of them as tiny home studs, if you will. Now, I know this looks like hoarding, but it is not. Corrugated iron out here in the Aussie bush is like gold. It has so many purposes and it's something that everyone holds on to. Saying that, I have waited almost 2 years for the perfect time to use this tin. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut two long pieces for the long sides. And for now, I'm only going to cut one short piece for one of the short sides. The reason for that is we're going to build a little access panel so we can get the bucket of worm juice out. So I swear, cannot make this stuff up. So I need a piece that is 71.5 centimeters. Check this out. I don't know if you can read that, but that's pretty close. I think that'll do nicely. So I've pre-drilled all my holes in the tin, and I'm just going to go ahead and sink some galvanized screws in to lock it into place. And now we've got our tin in place, we're going to whip up a door. But before we do, I'm going to pop this brace in. It'll give the door a place to stop, and it'll also stop all the snakes from getting in. We live on Menang country, which is part of the Noongar region of Indigenous Australia. And our neighbouring town a couple of kilometres away is named Nornalup, which actually translates to land of the black snake. So as you can imagine, we have a lot of snakes here. I know a lot of people are really scared of snakes, and to be honest, I've learned over the last couple of years that they're actually really gentle creatures and they just want to be left alone. As I'm snake proofing this build, I'm being mindful to not unintentionally create a habitat that can cause an unpleasant or stressful situation for me or the snake down the line. I feel it's important to consider how the things we build impact the environment around us. So it might not be snakes, maybe it's raccoons, maybe it's hippos, maybe it's penguins. Whatever it is, I think it's important to adapt your builds to consider the critters around us, however big or small. So now that I've got the door on, I'm just going to drag it outside, pop the bath in, we'll screw it down, and we'll start thinking about how we're going to construct our lid. And you can see now that I've got the bath in place, earlier I was talking about creating a lip for the lid to seal. Now hopefully that makes a little bit more sense. And now you can see I've got heaps of room to catch all that really tasty worm juice, and you can also see how perfect this would be for a snake house. But if I've done my job properly, that will not be an issue. So now I've got the bottom half of this build all squared away, it's time to build the lid. And to do that, I'm just going to chop up some more of this treated pine and just screw it together and just make a basic rectangular frame that fits around that bath. So now it's time to build a roof, and we're not just going to build any roof, we're going to build a pitched roof with ventilation. I was running through my mind, how am I going to build this roof? And to me, this is already starting to look like a house or like an apartment building or whatever. It's a big blocky structure. And I thought, why not make it really cool and really whimsical? So I decided on a pitched roof. I did consider a skillion roof. I did consider just a flat roof with ventilation. But in the end, I decided that this would suit our property and our little country garden we've got going on the best. So I just chopped up some more pine. I started with a central post and then I just sort of eyeball marked and cut a couple of diagonal pieces, screwed them in place, and then I put in a center ridge, and it was good, or at least I thought it was, but I overlooked something. Remember when I said this needed to have a lip all the way around the bath? Well, I did all that framework flush to my bench top and I didn't actually allow for the lip, so I had to pull it all apart, trim it, and put it back together, as you can see here. Once I had all my framework done, I just took some fly screen, stapled it in, and that'll just stop any blowflies or snails getting into the worm farm. At least that's the plan anyway. So now that I've got all my roof frame screwed together, I'm just going to sit it in place, screw some hinges in, and it should be good. Now that I've got that locked in place, I'm just going to go ahead and cut some tin, screw that onto the roof. Nothing fancy, just a few screws, bada bing, bada boom. So I was going to cut like a fascia, follow all the contour of these ridges, I guess. That sounded like way too much work for a worm farm, so I'm just going to gut fill it. Step 1, wear gloves and safety goggles. Is this safety goggles? Just because I'm a dingus, it doesn't mean you should be a dingus too. Ooh. Oh, this is fun and messy. After the site foreman came to tell me off for not wearing proper PPE, I was looking at this thing and I thought, this thing looks so much like a house, it would be a crime to not put a door and windows on it. So that's what we did. We ripped down some ply and I ripped down some little strips of treated pine. I painted those bits of ply black and I just slapped that wood on. And that, my friends, is how you accidentally turn your worm farm into a tiny house for worms. Well, between that and the mini fridge and the hot tub, but that'll all come later. I'm just joking. I'm not really going to put a hot tub and a mini fridge in there, unless you want me to. And I got everything finished and I was really happy with it and I put it in place and my wife says, you know what that needs? Some flower boxes for the windows. So who am I to deny my wife of flower boxes? So I went back to the workshop, made some and screwed them in place. And we're just going to take a little stroll to get some worms, take a little shortcut through my moon gate. If you haven't seen my moon gate video, you can go and check that one out after this one. We inherited our old worm farm when we first moved into this place, and that thing is an absolute disaster. It's just an old fridge buried in the ground. You cannot collect any of the juice or any of the goodness out of it. It was full of plastic and it's taken us a lot of work to get it to a point where we're happy with, but it's just not accessible and it's just not practical, so hence the upgrade. One of the reasons why I love this new worm farm so much over the old one is I don't have to bend down and break my back anymore. Having this thing elevated off ground level is an absolute game changer for me. And the other game changer is this liquid gold, aka worm juice. If you're not catching this stuff and putting this back into your garden, you are missing out. And just going to shovel a bit of gravel around just for added snake protection. Now I'm just going to rack up some brownie points, plant some delicious herbs in here, and call it a day. Here we go, guys. As promised, one tiny home for worms, and I am so happy with this thing. My wife's happy, I'm happy, my garden's happy, and most importantly, the worms are happy. And if you're happy, guys, why don't you make me extra happy? Give me some love, drop me a like, a comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Hope you loved it. Catch us on the next one. Peace. Hello? Must be still sleeping. We'll come back later.